Hello and welcome to my review for The Office, which my wife and I finished about a week ago. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of backstory, and you, viewer, might be like, I didn't ask for this. Well, that's too bad. You clicked on the video. I used to not like The Office, not because I had ever watched it, because I told people, or like myself, I don't find dry humor funny. I don't think that it's funny. I don't understand how it could be funny, but I had never watched the show. My wife had watched it and she knew that it was funny and told me that we should watch it, and we tried it, and it's a very good show. It's very funny. And the thing about The Office is it's meant to be real people that are being filmed by a camera crew. So in my brain, before I had watched it, I thought, okay, so the whole joke is that there's no jokes. And again, I hadn't seen it, so I'm thinking the whole thing that's funny is people are saying things, but nobody's reacting because it's not funny. They're not making a joke, and that's the funny thing. No, wrong. The Office is very clearly comedically written, and like the characters pop jokes all the time. Like, even though it is meant to be real people that are being filmed in a documentary, it's very clearly not that. They are clearly making jokes, like written jokes that they have to make punchy and whatever, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot, actually. It was very funny and a very good journey. And again, with 20-minute episodes, you feel like you can fly through these seasons super quick, and it's really good. So I'm just gonna kind of jump to the end a little bit and just talk about the characters that I liked and enjoyed. In the beginning, Michael, of course, is like the number one thing that's known from this show is Michael Scott, and like Steve Carell's Michael Scott is legendary, one of the best like characters, and he's so funny. And it's more of like, Michael Scott isn't a bad person, he's just ignorant in a way. Like, he'll say things that are rude or fucked up, not intending it to be. And when he left the show, it kind of sucked. Not the show as a whole didn't suck, but it was just sad to see him go, because he felt like kind of like the main character a little bit, which, my wife and I, we not argued, but like back and forth went on who is the actual main character of the show, because it's, it's not really about one individual character. Each person in the office kind of gets an episode to shine. Like for example, an episode will have Kevin in a lot of scenes and be following him, and then the next episode he'll barely show up. Like, he'll be in the background, he'll maybe crack a joke, but then it'll follow a couple other characters and like what they're doing in their personal life or whatever, which it's a lot of fun. It gives a lot of love to all the characters that are in the show, and allows them to make their jokes but also stay in their character. One of my favorites is Angela. Something about her character, like, it's so consistent. Like, she is grossed out by certain things, doesn't like certain things, and she's not the type to hold in her opinion, and she'll straight up tell you. And like, from season 1 to the finish, she pretty much is that character, and they give her a lot of times to make those jokes about what she doesn't like or likes or whatever, and it's super good. But so we'll talk about Jim and Pam. They're great characters, man. They're really good. Jim and Dwight antics are super fun. Jim like pranking Dwight in their little like buddy rivalry where they're like friends but they're not, or at least Dwight would say they aren't, but like Jim, they are. Yeah, Jim is a good character. Obviously the looks at the cameras is always funny. It always makes me laugh a little bit, or at least a chuckle, just to see Jim, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always good. Pam is a great character. They go through crazy, great things. But Jim and Pam kind of start a repetitive story thing that this show does that I've noticed on through the seasons, but it's not really that big of an issue with Jim and Pam's part. At the beginning of the show, Jim and Pam are not together, and it's kind of like a will they, won't they, when will they kind of thing. and that's fine, you know. In the first couple seasons, that's all right. But I think that the show kind of falls into doing that too much, and I'll get there when I about the specific characters when I get there. But yeah, Pam's a great character. She has the great, like, they all have good, you know, arcs or whatever. And again, it's a comedy mockumentary, so it's not going to be a character arc on the level of like. Just popped into my head like Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, where they go from like these drastic, you know what I mean? Because The Walking Dead is much more serious than The Office. So, you know, Rick goes from not wanting to kill people to killing anybody. Like, you know, he drastically changes. But like Pam, she goes through, like, she's with Roy and she's okay and she's happy, but then she's with Jim and she kind of sees what she could have. And then when her and Jim get together, she kind of like goes to school to be an artist, but then she doesn't really like it and kind of just comes back. Like, you know, all the characters in this show, they go and they try things and they do feel like real people, you know. And one thing, okay, I need to just get this out of the way. In the beginning seasons, it was much more believable that there was a person standing there holding the camera recording everybody. But as the seasons go on, they try to make it seem like there's a person holding the camera, but the person's like, okay, say for example, the camera angle that you have right now is a person holding the camera, right? Then it'll jump to a camera angle from behind me over my shoulder, and in that angle you can't see a person here. So it's like, clearly there's not a person there. So later on in the seasons, like season 8 or 9, when it gets to the end and like Pam is like talking to the camera people, it's like, dude, they're the whole time, except for like the first like 3-4 seasons. Okay, the first 4 seasons it was believable, maybe, but like once it hits season 5 and 6, like the cameramen have instant transmission and are literally teleporting around like this at the blink of an eye. So when they have Pam interact or just have characters interact with the camera people that were there the whole time, like, dude, stop. Just like make it kind of a joke that there's not actual people holding the camera or something like that. I don't even know where I was at, but yeah, every character gets good arcs or like, you know, changes throughout time. Jim and Pam, I went over. I like them a lot. Their relationship is very good, but I think my favorite relationship, hands down, gotta be Dwight and Angela, right? Dwight and Angela's relationship in the first like 2 or 3 seasons, where they're like sneaking around but like fucking in the office, it's so funny. I don't know what it is, like when they're at the vending machine and they're like, don't make eye contact, but they're like talking as if like the FBI are like investigating them. But like, and it's so funny because even though they're doing all that, they're still on camera, so it's so funny. And also Dwight calling her monkey is like, or and her calling him D, it's like, it's so funny. But then when they break up, and it's like, I hate that. I wanted that plot line of Dwight and Angela like sneaking around and like secretly being together for like 8 seasons. I don't care. I found it that funny, and I don't know if people like it that much, or, you know, I haven't really looked into other people's consensus on the show because I don't really care. I liked it and I enjoyed it. You know, with other things I will look, like Stranger Things. I wanted to know what other people thought, but The Office has been over for a while, and it's a funny show, and it's more of a comedy. It's not meant to be insanely serious. The show is serious. Like, there are very serious moments between like Jim and Pam, for example, where they're like trying to figure out their work relation, or not their work relationship, their relationship with work. You know, Jim is going to Philadelphia, Pam wants to stay, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's serious. Like, and it made me tear up, you know what I mean? Like, it's serious, but it's a comedy and it's a mockumentary. It made me feel good and it made me laugh. I don't really care what other people necessarily think. You know, I would like to read what other people think, but I don't. It's not going to sway my opinion one way or the other. You know, it's more of just like a opinion. You know. But yeah, I wanted Dwight and Angela to span the entire show, man. It was so funny. But when they ended up breaking up, it was like, I don't know, because it introduced Andy into the picture, and Angela and Andy were gonna like get married. And that's one thing that I will say about the show that I don't like necessarily, and I'll get into the whole thing now, is they love to do love triangles, and I I don't mind it when it's Jim and Pam, or like Dwight, Angela, and Andy. It's like when it's Dwight, Angela, and Andy, because I like Dwight and Angela, I don't like Andy and Angela together, right? I don't want that. I already like Dwight and Angela, so I'm kind of like, eh. And then they do Aaron, Gabe, and Andy. And then I don't like Gabe. I fucking hate Gabe. I think he actively ruins the show. Like, literally, like, when he's on screen, I can't stand Gabe. I can't stand him, along with Ryan also. I cannot stand those two characters. Like, and they get so much screen time, and it's so upsetting. Like, actually, like, I fucking hate those characters. Like Ryan is just so annoying. I don't know. And then Gabe is, like, just as annoying, because here's my thing. Here's the thing. I came to like Erin a lot, and so I'm on her side always. So like when she wants to break up with Gabe and he's like not letting go, that's annoying me, right? Like I'm getting annoyed. But anyway, they do these love triangles over and over and over again. It was Jim, Pam, and Roy. Then it is Dwight, Angela, Andy, and then Erin's introduced, and then it's Aaron, Gabe, and Andy, and then she is with Andy, and then they like Andy leaves or whatever, and then it's Andy, Aaron, and the intern, and then there's Angela, the senator, and then Oscar, which that plot line is funny. It's funny. I listen, I can tell you why it's funny, and you might not like it, but like Angela as a character being like disgusted by like I don't want to say, because it's not funny, but like the way the show does it is funny. I'm not gonna say, whatever. But like Oscar knowing that the senator is gay because he's gay, and he's like, I can tell, but he's not gonna tell her. I like that one because it felt more funny than like a love triangle. But yeah, the love triangle thing, I don't like it. Like, I like Aaron, but I also don't like the intern guy, but I don't like Gabe. And then in the last like 2 seasons, like when Andy becomes the boss of the office, or the manager of the office, his whole character changes. And like, you could chalk it up to the writers being like, he's the boss, and you know, being the boss takes a toll, which is something they explored with Jim, when Jim and Michael were both like split regional manager. Like, Jim had to make decisions that made people not happy, and he was like, oh man, Michael's job is hard because you can't make everybody happy, so whatever. So they explored that. So when Michael leaves and Andy becomes manager, he's like, you know, the same goofy guy, but like when Andy goes on his boat ride and then comes back, he's like an asshole. Like, he's not, like, again, I know Andy has anger issues. That's one of the things about his character, is that he gets angry and he has to learn to control it. But for the most of the show, except for when he punches through the wall in the earlier seasons, he controls his anger pretty well, like relatively well. And then in the last season, or whenever he comes back from his boat trip, I don't know if it's like towards the end of the last season, whatever, he's just like a douchebag, like an asshole, like a bad guy, like just an a-hole. Like, even Michael made bad decisions or like said bad things in ignorance, but like Andy is like actively just being a bad guy. Like, I don't know how to explain it any better than that, and I don't like it, because I didn't mind Andy. I thought he was a funny character, and you know, whatever. But yeah, the love triangle thing, I don't really like it, man. I don't know. I'm going to jump into more characters here. Dwight might be my favorite character, or I don't know who my favorite character actually is. It's really hard. They all have their own moments, and a lot of the characters in this show, their character and the enjoyment you have for them comes from their interaction with other characters. So like, you could say Dwight is your favorite, but like when Dwight is talking to Jim or doing his goofy shit with Jim, that's better than just Dwight by himself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I liked Kelly a lot. I'm kind of sad that she left. I'm not gonna lie. I was happy when Ryan left. I was extremely happy when he left. But Kelly, like, her being like ditzy, it was so funny to me. I don't know. And again, I know that Ryan and Kelly are like kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, their back and forth is kind of funny, where like he'll cheat on her and he wants to get away from her, but then he comes back, and like, I get it. I get the jokes, but Ryan is just an annoying fucking character. I cannot stand Ryan. But yeah, Kelly, I liked Kelly. Stanley's funny. Kevin's funny. Oscar is a character that I think that in the beginning they didn't really know what to do with him, but once they started like getting season 4 or 5, whenever Michael left, Oscar became like 10 times more funny, or at least they gave him more to be funny with. They gave him more lines or just more screen time in general. Not that he wasn't funny before, but he just was, it didn't feel like he was on the screen as much. And then once Michael left, I don't know if it actually was then, like they might have slowly gave him more screen time and it just added up after Michael left, but it felt like after Michael left he got more screen time, and he's one of the funniest fucking, like he's super funny. Yeah, like there's so many good characters, and I like the ending. I think The Office has a really good ending, like a very wholehearted good ending. I watched it a week ago. I don't remember exactly what happened with Jim and Pam, but I think that Dwight and Angela's relationship might be on par or better, because I don't know how to explain it. It's just how it is. Like Jim and Pam, it's the better like love story, but like for comedy, but also just wholeheartedness. Like Angela and Dwight's relationship is so good. And the thing with Michael coming back in that episode where they get married is it felt weird. Like it was good to see him come back, but like when they open the door and he's just standing there, like Michael as a character has been shown to be very excited, energetic about whatever. So like I feel like even if Michael left the office, right, and was gone, like in story, he left and he's with Holly, whatever, has kids, and he comes back, and I get it, he's a dad, maybe he has a different outlook or whatever you want to say, but like I feel like he would be like super excited, or he'd be dressed up, or like I know he was in a suit, but I mean like dressed up in a crazy, like something, because Michael is that kind of character, that kind of person. And I just feel like it was weird. Like they opened the door and he's standing there, and it was more like an audience moment than like a moment for Dwight, which is the whole reason that Pam invited him to come back, right? Like it felt like it was supposed to be like, oh shit, look audience, we got him here. And it's like, okay, but it's supposed to be Dwight. Like I thought he'd be like exploding and like being quipping, and then he says like, oh my god, I can't believe you came, or whatever, and he goes, that's what she said, but he like barely says it, like he's like, that's what she said, and then it like cuts, like it's weird. And then at the wedding he's just standing there, and Michael's always trying to be the center of attention, and you feel like he'd grab the mic and like talk and whatever, but he's kind of just standing. I get it, like you don't want to ruin Dwight and Angela's moment, but like it's Michael Scott, the guy who like built the whole not built the whole show, obviously there's much more integral parts of the show, but like you know what I mean, like he's the most known famous part of the show. I feel like he'd be like, get a moment in or whatever. I don't know, but it's still a good ending. Dwight and Angela getting married, that's exactly what I wanted. I called it though when Dwight's dating this like no name or she had a name, but like this random blonde chick that we had never seen before this season. I was like, no, they're just a red herring. He's gonna have the ring so that he can propose to his girlfriend, but then realize he wants to be with Angela, whatever. Like I don't know. I knew it was coming, but no, great show. I really enjoyed it, and it was fucking hilarious. I laughed so hard at some of this stuff. And again, like I talked about in the beginning how I used to be like, dry humor is not my thing. It's not dry humor. It's meant like it. I thought the whole thing was like, it was awkward. Like you have an office full of people that don't really get along or know each other. So like if a character pop the joke, no one's gonna laugh, and that's the joke, is that nobody laughed. But in the office, people don't laugh, but very clearly there are jokes made at the camera that are a joke to make the audience laugh. Like it's not what I thought it was when I used to bash on it, because I used to be like, man, I'm not watching that shit is dry humor, I'm not watching that shit, and I watch it, and I'm so glad that I did, because it's very good. But yeah, I came to like Erin a lot, and I want to know if other people kind of feel that way, because she has these moments where I feel like the show sometimes makes her dumber than she is to be funny, Well, like when she was introduced, she was kind of like out there, like, you know, whatever. And it was funny. But then sometimes she's like really smart and really intelligent, or like really in connect with her emotions, or um she'll be able to pick up on things like, are you not happy, yada yada, whatever, love triangle bullshit. And like, but then sometimes somebody will be like blatantly like cheating in her face, or not cheating, but like somebody will be doing something and it just goes over her head. Like, I don't know, sometimes she's like smart, and then sometimes they make her dumb, and it's like, okay, I'm fine with that. But I liked Erin. I don't know why I liked Erin. It just, over time, I liked her character. And maybe it was because every person that she was with, I couldn't stand except Andy. Like when her and Andy were together, I thought that was like perfect. But they do this for like, that's the love triangle thing that I don't like, is it's not just Erin and Andy. It's like a season of them hinting at it, and then Erin finally getting away from Gabe, and like it's like they take so long doing it that it's like, I don't know. But I really enjoyed the show, and I'm really glad that I watched it. And let me know what you thought if you have watched The Office before. If I had spoiled the ending for you, I am sorry, but it feels good, so finish it. You know what I mean? But thank you for watching, and have a good day.